What's up, Neil?
Hi, Cal. How are you?
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, I got
Doing good, bro.
lost for a second.
Well, it's been a while.
Yeah.
And here we are, Season 3, Episode 12, and it is the first one of the season where it's just me and you, the two dudes. So, what's up? How you been?
Been well, and I noticed that was the Doors right there.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And I think that's going to be a little bit of a prelude to some major news. Not really, but for your host anyway. But before we get into that,
Yeah, sorry, I didn't. Like you said.
Neil's good for a little tease. But no, actually, first off, I just started with a Bell's Tropical Hop Slam, which I've never had before.
How do you like it?
Good. Here, take it.
Let's see if I can.
There we go.
I don't think I've ever tasted this before.
I know I haven't. It is a 9.0%. Really good. Obviously, we are well versed in the hop slam.
Yes.
Because we have been hop slammed many of times in our life. One that we won't even get into at this point. Maybe a different episode.
Well, right? Also I don't think there's just one. I think there's probably two or three, and not just us, but stories of everybody who's been hop slammed by the slam.
Absolutely. Well, definitely me, you, and Paul, who everyone knows is my brother and obviously mine and Neil's best friend as well. But yes, we've been hop slammed before. In fact, got us the night before I moved to Howell away from. Used to live over by Paul, and we moved out, and we were up to like 4 or 5 in the morning, just literally hop slamming all night. To the point that Paul, I remember, wrote a note to Leah. And I don't even remember what it said, but the only thing, it was just scratch. She couldn't even make it out. It was awful. So, but hey, here we are again. No way to get started like this.
I can...
which actually, I did get the day started with a Two-Hearted from
Cheers.
Bell's as well, which is one of my favorite beers.
So I can liken the hop slam to kind of like Dario's dad's moonshine.
Oh, the Schlivovitz.
The Schlivovitz, where you can have not a lot. You shouldn't have a lot of anything like that. But
the next thing you know, you've had more than
it. Yes, and then it gives you kind of that weird, not weird buzz, good buzz, of course, but to the point where somebody's writing down notes and it was just chicken scratch.
Absolutely.
like you're on a total different level of buzz.
Yeah, we got well, you mentioned that you shouldn't drink as much, but we were introduced to the Schlivovitz obviously early on, but we were really introduced during the 98 World Cup.
Sure.
Because you remember Croatia made that incredible run all the way to the semifinals.
Yep.
I believe they lost to France. And then in the third place, so they did beat Holland, so they took third in that. Mm-hmm. But spending some time with Dario and his family, and having some of the homemade Schlivovitz from Croatia. It was
plum
brandy. It's a plum brandy.
But,
absolutely. Yeah, it was awesome. So speaking of soccer, we got Gold Cup going on right now, which we don't care about.
Yeah.
But in other news,
I really don't care about
it. We woke up this morning to over 600,000 views on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. So, thanks to everyone who's ever checked us out. Whatever, left comments and shared as well. But that's a huge milestone for us. And the thing is, we did it in 32 days this time, with the next 100,000.
Yes.
I've been tracking it, and we went from a year plus to get to the first 100,000, and it was like 88 whatever, but we're down to about a month to get to that next one. So who knows, million will be here shortly, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, at the rate we're going, probably maybe a good Christmas present ish.
I am actually hoping
7, 8, 9. Oh yeah, probably maybe Thanksgiving.
I'm hoping for a strong push and maybe do it sometime by the end of September is my goal.
Okay.
It's good to have goals, but this also happens to coincide with a pretty big event for me, going to Bourbon and Beyond in Louisville in September for the festival this year.
Yes, and that is what are the dates?
It is September 11th through the 14th in Louisville, called Bourbon and Beyond.
And I'm not going, but
No.
you and Shaq are going.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still up to maybe going. Can you just get tickets, correct?
Absolutely, and you can get tickets just for single days, all 4 days, whatever. So,
I'm still not opposed to. I mean, I want to go, but I thought just because it's a festival, not couple, because it's
absolutely, it's quick drive down.
Yeah.
Well, not quick, but it's drive down. We got the room. I mean, overall, it was $400 for all 4 days for me when I bought them up front. Like, how can you beat that?
Oh, not bad.
I mean, you spend over $100 for a halfway decent ticket to any concert. Now I'm spending basically $100 each day for a concert, but you're going to see some of the best fucking bands ever.
And we were discussing this earlier, like, where do I go? What do I,
Oh,
and
I
also,
can't wait.
the thing is, you're basically seeing 10 or 20 concerts in one day.
Right.
10,
Well, and that's what I did.
The
learn
beauty of
that,
a festival.
Well, like Lollapalooza, I would last year figure out who I wanted to see, when, blah blah blah. But in the grand scheme of things, like even if you go from noon to 10 or whatever when it ends, you can really only see so much. And then it also depends, like, how much do you want to see by each person? Like, if it's your favorite fucking band and you're seeing the whole, depends when they're playing, how big they are. It could be anywhere from like 10 but to 16 songs. Well, you've just spent an hour and a half of the day where you're not seeing anything else.
Yeah.
So you really got to kind of pick and choose. And so far, Bourbon and Beyond is broken into the days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but not the times yet.
Yes, you did mention that.
But, I mean, I tell everyone, this is the best lineup I've ever seen of any festival.
Well,
You ask who, Neil?
Well, yeah, and we were talking about that earlier, and one of my, I not favorite bands, but I would put them in the top tier, Cage the Elephant.
Absolutely. So, yeah, they're there.
How can you not go see Cage the Elephant when
And
so-and-so is here? And it's like, hopefully they're not playing
And they're like,
the same time,
the third tier down.
Yeah.
They're not like a headline or even second level. And it's like, holy shit, I love Cage the Elephant. I've never
Yes.
seen them.
Neither have I. And
Well, in fact, we could have seen them last year. It was September 10th. It was Cage the Elephant with Cough Syrup guys. Young the Giant.
Young the Giant, yeah.
And they're at Pine Knob, but me and you went and saw Peter Hook and the Light at Royal Oak. Which, that was cool.
Yeah.
And, to be honest, I don't fucking mind not driving the Pine Knob.
Yeah.
It's fucking horrible, dude. And there's nothing around there.
The traffic is terrible.
Traffic's terrible in and out. Like, you get there, I mean, you can either tailgate or you can go inside. So, Grand Rapids, they're building a Pine Knob.
Yes, I saw you had posted.
Yeah, I went there last weekend.
Where did you take that picture from? Like the side of the highway? Did you actually pull off?
It was, no. Well, I was getting off on my exit, and I'm pulling up. I'm like, man, that looks fucking cool. Because I couldn't really tell at first. I'm like, oh shit, because I heard about it. I'm like, and then it's literally right walking distance to into downtown. It's right there. And I'm like, I will drive an extra hour to that place every time over Pine Knob anyway.
Yeah.
Because the traffic in the Pine Knob sucks. You know what else sucks is trying to get the fuck out of that place.
Worse.
I've sat in that parking lot for over an hour trying to get out. And so I can go to Grand Rapids. I can get there at 2. I don't have to sit and tailgate in the sun and get fucking hammered. I can go do something in Grand Rapids. I can walk around, get a cool dinner, and then just walk to the concert.
Yeah, you had in one of your comments is like, well, it's probably better. Grand Rapids is better because there's actually something to do beforehand. Right. You can
you can actually make plans. You can do stuff. I mean,
hey, go play pickleball. I'm sure there's a pickleball fucking court somewhere.
I passed like 18 of them. But no, Grand Rapids is super cool. I'll get into why I was there in a little bit. But no, so Cage the Elephant, that's a band I've always loved, never seen them, and they're at Bourbon and Beyond. So they're like a must-see for me no matter what.
Good. I hope you do see them and it doesn't conflict with any of the other bands that you want to see.
No, and I mean,
which are
headliners. I mean, Fish is a headliner, and they're doing a double set. I've seen them one time, and that was like
same here.
25 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be cool. Noah Kahan's a headliner, which I'm not a big fan of. But you know what? If I'm walking by, I'll grab a couple videos. People
Yeah.
fucking love them, you know. Plus, seeing them live, I'm not familiar enough. That's not that I don't like them, but I
No.
know people fucking love them there for a long time.
But seeing them live is
I mean, it's a whole different.
yeah. And it's like,
Jack
oh my gosh,
White's
I really like.
Jack White's a fucking headliner. The Lumineers.
Oh my lord!
Yeah, I mean it's amazing. And then you have
I'm really thinking about going.
Ringo Starr,
Yes.
Alabama Shakes,
Oh, we were listening to Ringo Starr earlier.
Blues Traveler, Old 97s. I mean, Spin Doctors, Foreigner. I think Pat Benatar's there. You know, like ones you wouldn't expect to see too. But what I've noticed, it's not like poppy or R&B or rap. There's like nothing of that, which is fine.
Yeah,
But that's why I'm probably more geared like, oh my God. Oh, Nathaniel Rateliff's going to be there, which I've never seen. It's really... And then some of the bands that I've always wanted, like the Teskey Brothers, they're out of like Australia or something. And people are like, oh yeah, you should see them.
I've heard of
So
them.
now you have the opportunity. But like I said, until I get that date, the times, and figuring it out, and you know, I think it's 5 stages where Lollapalooza was 7. So, because that's the other thing, I might have to walk all the way from here to all the way the fuck over there. So not only if I watch 10 songs, now I have to factor in how long does it take to fucking walk, and you're like cruising to try to even catch the last couple of someone, you know.
You're definitely an experienced festival goer. If you
Well,
will,
not
for
I
instance.
wasn't
But, mean,
last year.
I know,
but
but
I
you
learned
know
a
what I
lot
mean.
from Lollapalooza. It was laid out cool, and the expectations is really, I think, is what's different. You know, like I was like, oh my God, I can go do this and that, and then, but actually when you're there, you don't have as much time.
Right.
You know. And then you're like, fuck, it's 6 o'clock and so-and-so's coming on at 7:30. And I'm like, you know, where'd the time go?
I need to eat something. No, I need to I probably should take a nap.
Right?
Let's go watch a show instead.
So having Shaq there, one will be cool, just having, you know, a buddy to go with. But then if we do have to split up and maybe catch videos because 2 dudes stuff, or if I'm like, I'm going to see these guys, whether you like it or not. I mean, like, for me, Old 97s is one I want to see no matter what. I haven't seen them in a while. I've always loved them.
Yep.
Jade Bird. She's like an English chick. She had that song Lottery.
Oh, I love that song.
I know. I'd love to just see that song. You know what I mean? You hope it works out where you can just catch it or whatever.
Dude, I effing love that song.
But no, Alabama Shakes I'm excited about. I've always liked Brittany Howard. And it's been 10 years since they've toured or whatever. And
Yes.
they do have a tour. They're
was
playing
gonna say.
in Meadowbrook.
At Meadowbrook, we should go.
I will, but it's a few days, I think, before Bourbon and Beyond.
Okay.
But it's at Meadowbrook. Another one is at Meadowbrook right around the same time as Blues Traveler, Gin Blossoms, and Spin Doctors. And all 3 of them are at
that's right.
Bourbon and Beyond. They all play the same day, obviously, because tour reasons or whatever. But yeah, it's really an amazing festival, and a lot, you know, newer people plus older people that, you know, you loved, and some acts, like I said, like Foreigner and like that. Why are you here? But because it's cool, people love it, you know, or whatever. That might be. I mean, I want to go see them.
Yeah,
like Ringo Starr. When I tell people Ringo Starr, they're like, no shit, really? And I'm like, yeah, but I want to see him for sure because I mean, he probably will be the only Beatle I ever see live.
Yeah.
I'm not a big McCartney fan, and I mean, even if he tours, I don't know that I would spend the money to go see him. Ringo, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't even care about seeing a Beatle, but now I have a chance. I'm like, you know what we say? If you have the chance and you want to see it, and I mean, it's historic. It's Beatles.
We were talking about that earlier in the week. No, I'm just gonna put. We were talking about earlier about Ringo.
Oh, we're hanging out in the green room.
Yeah,
when we were just dilly-dallying around.
And I'm like, dude, actually, Ringo Starr actually has some really, really cool tunes. You know,
he really did.
Yeah. Definitely Beatles. I mean, if you have never listened to Ringo Starr, it's totally Beatles because obviously.
No,
but I mean,
I mentioned the only one because I'm horrible with songs and everything else, but obviously Yellow Submarine, and I think it's Help from My Friends or whatever, Help from Your Friends, whatever. Those are the ones I know, but you actually pulled out a couple that I wasn't familiar with. I'm like, damn, those are really good songs. Was it like Photograph or some shit?
Yeah, what a great song.
I know. And it's not
You should at least make an attempt to go see a song or two.
Oh, from
Ringo Starr and Foreigner. If
I'll see
Ringo Starr and Foreigner.
No,
but
I totally
Foreigner's
will.
fucking great too.
And I'm not sure if it's them, but like there's like Marcy's Playground, you know, like some of those bands like from back in the like late '90s and stuff where they had some hits. And it's like, holy shit! And it might not even be them; it might be another one, but it's like that same type of band.
Yeah, yeah, right. It's probably not even
right. It's probably not. But yeah, I'm cool. I'm really excited about Jack White because seeing him in April was the first time, and it was awesome seeing him because it wasn't what I expected him to be. Like, I've never really paid attention to the White Stripes, like watch videos on YouTube, any of that shit, right? Or concerts or anything. And I always just kind of, like, even though I think he was always kind of like a geeky guy coming up, but always like the cool guy, you know, when he's playing, you know? Yeah. And he was just like up there, like fucking dancing and prancing around and doing, you know, like almost like the front man, but while playing that fucking guitar. It was sweet.
Fucking loved it.
I know, so seeing him will be awesome. Lumineers, I always loved. That's going to be what, like fifth or sixth time seeing them. And,
I think that band's too good. I just like them. I really do.
I do too. I love their live shows. I love the energy of the whole crowd. And the one thing, I mean, you've heard me say, and like, I don't really care, I don't really complain, but I'm not a big fan of the crowd always singing along. But for that band, it's they sing along almost every song, and it just fucking works with it. So, you know what I mean? Like, for that, it's okay, it's good here.
There's probably certain bands that can't pull that off with the crowd singing,
And he's always interacting with the crowd and shit. It's just a fun show, you know? I won't compare the bands because different, like a Rusted Root show, no matter what you knew you were going to have fun.
Yeah.
For me, if I've gone to Lumineers now no matter what, I always have a fucking great time. Great songs, and it's like they rip through like fucking 25, 30 songs.
Well, yeah, a lot of
I've said this before because a lot of them they might only be, you know, some are like 2.5, maybe like 3:20,
1:59. I think one of them, you know, like
yeah, but no, that'll be cool. I know I'm forgetting because there's actually 5 headliners. Fish, Noah Kahan. Well, it doesn't really matter, right? Because everyone else is.
No.
And you just go, like I said, you just keep going down the line. Like, oh shit, I'll see them. And then you're like, well, I need to make a spreadsheet. The nerd comes out like, there's no way I can see everything here that I'm talking about. But then you're like, all right, well, that's just one day though, you know. And it does seem, I think Thursday seems like a pretty good day. They're all good, but like, for me personally, I think Thursday's a good one. And I want to say that might be when Fish headlines.
Also, I kind of see you're wearing a little new shirt there.
Yeah, this is actually Kennedy made this design for us, and for Father's Day gave me the shirt. And it actually has the bigger logo on the back. But it does bring up the thing where I think we're about ready to start selling merch.
And if you're only listening and you can't see, but go and look, but the freaking logo is badass.
I love it. I love the killer tunes, and then me and you up here, our little cartoon guys. But no, so I think we're going to have this option with a little thing here, and then on the big thing on the back, and then our standard 2 dudes that...
that one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
With this, so
you guys,
I think we're going to start off with T-shirts and coffee mugs first. And obviously stickers, because we have stickers. So.
Coffee mugs are cool.
But more to come on that. I think we'll see that.
Sorry if I...
No, absolutely. I think we'll...
But I kept looking
that was...
like, oh my gosh.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I did want to mention that. I didn't have it in the notes. But I think we're going to get in the little merch field. I think dip our toe there, see how it goes.
I actually really like the colors, too.
And if not, we'll just keep giving them out to guests, because we'll probably be doing this for the next, 5, 6, 7 years or more. Who knows?
After that 7 years, we're going to
if you don't want to buy one, contact us about being a guest, and you get one for free. But there's no guarantee we want you on our show either. So if you're not good with rejection, you might not want to do that. No, but back to Cage the Elephant. That's one of those bands that I've always said, like, they'd be cool, and then you actually realize how much material songs you know by them. It's like, holy shit, they got a lot of good songs.
So I was working this week, painting at my job, and I had put it on Pandora, and I put it on Arcade Fire Station. Arcade Fire is awesome, and then Cage the Evelyn came on, and it was Cigarette Dreams or whatever. I'm like,
Cigarette Daydream.
Or Cigarette Dream. I'm like, oh my gosh, who is this? And I knew it was, but whatever. I think we just...
You got to double check it.
Yes. Sure. And then another song by Cage the Evelyn came out. Who the fuck is this? I'm like...
Social Cues is a
goddamn
great one.
Fucking Cage the Evelyn again. So, I mean, what a badass
you know what,
band.
Black Madonna. Fucking love it. Dude. And I had no idea that it was them. Like, when I first heard it, I'm like, oh shit, this is awesome.
Too many good songs.
So I can't wait to see them.
Yes, please. I can't wait till you show them. Well, I might be there.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully the day works out when you can go or whatever, you know.
Well, I would love to go all 4 days.
Well, if you can, let's fucking work it out, bro. I know the car that's going. I know where we're staying.
Going with 2.
As of right now, I know the dude that paid for it. I got you, Shaq. Don't worry. So, we have, well, personally, I've been pretty fucking busy this month. We're June. We're at the end of June now, but I started the month of June in a blaze of fucking glory. Which I'm gonna write that down. You know why, Neil?
Because you want to see Bon Jovi?
Yeah, fuck yeah. I'm going to make sure that's on this playlist, bitch. It also reminds me of my buddy Tyson from Canada that I met up with when I was there.
Okay.
When I did my little Ben Harper mini tour, because that happened at the beginning of this month. And so I ended up going to 3 Ben Harper shows in 4 days, so 3 cities and 2 countries. Sounds a lot crazier than it is, but actually once I lived through it, it was still pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But, so starting on, I went to Toronto a little early, went over on the 1st and did some sightseeing and stuff, and actually met up with an old player from the women's team when I used to coach, Gwen. Met up with her and Tyson, her partner, and he actually is in a Bon Jovi cover band.
Yes.
Up in Oshawa, Ontario.
I love that.
And he also is 5 years deep into his own podcast.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And
well, no, that's right, but you told me that. I'm like,
to be honest, I don't even have any of the information. I'm just kind of spitballing it here. But no, he's been doing it for like 5 years. Obviously, you know, his genre and what he grew up in was like hair metal. You know, we call it that, but there's some fucking kick-ass bands that come out of that. But he's been doing it for 5 years, and he'll get guests on from some of these bands from back in like the 80s, early 90s that we all remember. And so I met up with them. Did some sightseeing, Hockey Hall of Fame.
Went to the Hockey Hall of Fame. How was that?
Ripley's Aquarium. I also went to the ROM. The ROM, which is the Royal Ontario Museum. Okay. And then, but it was funny. I was going to the Hockey Hall of Fame. And right where I stayed was literally across the street from Massey Hall, where Ben Harper was going to play.
Massey Hall. Massey.
Yes.
Hall, yes.
And that was the first show of 3. So showed up in Toronto on the 1st, was doing a bunch of sightseeing like a fucking dork or a nerd, whatever you want to call me, but it was awesome. One of the best times I've ever had. Met up with Gwen and Tyson, which was super cool. Kind of just spur of the moment too, you know, just out and about. Like, I'm here. I'm like, oh, we should meet up. All right, let's do it. We did it, you know. And they came into Toronto, which isn't fun at all, no matter what time or day you do it. But so I ended up I was in 2 different hotels, and so I moved over to my cool hotel on Tuesday.
Okay.
Show was on Wednesday, so I'm checking in, and the lady's like, oh yeah, you know, we've upgraded you. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Not thinking like anything of it, and I walk into this goddamn room. It's like 1,000 square feet. It's the most amazing thing. And I look out the fucking window, and there's Massey Hall right there, literally across the street. I'm like, oh my God. So Wednesday, Wednesday comes, and I'm going to the Hockey Hall of Fame. And the beauty of Toronto, I mean, you just fucking walk anywhere.
Uh-huh.
And if you don't feel like walking, you can Uber, And I hate to say it, the American money at this point is worth much more. So, like a Ben Harper ticket costs $60 in Toronto. The same Ben Harper ticket in Royal Oak or Chicago was like $120. It was crazy.
Oh, shit.
I know. So anyway, I'm walking down to the Hockey Hall of Fame. It's like maybe 11-ish. Plenty of time before the show, but I look over and there's a bunch of commotion outside Massey. So I walk over and there was like an indigenous music thing going on. Like a convention, whatever you want to call it. So there's a bunch of kind of musicians and people with that. I'm like, all right, cool. And then I look over and here's this guy, and he's got this like placard on his belt that says Ben Harper and the Innocent Criminals. And I actually had on my Greta Van Fleet shirt. I remember this, which is kind of not important. But so I walk up. I'm like, oh, are you with the tour? And he's like, oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then he says, actually, I worked with those guys on one of their very early tours, talking about Greta Van Fleet. He's like, they're great guys. And so I'm talking.
No shit.
Uh-huh. And I'm talking to him and told him, I'm from Detroit, but I'm going to this show, Royal Oak, and then Chicago. Been a huge fan. Obviously Greta Van Fleet, Frankenmuth. So we're just bullshitting. Well, ends up he's like manages like the road crew, that the truck drivers that get everything there unloaded, set up, and all that. And really cool guy. I mean, he knew everything about like Royal Oak music. He's like, hey, it's the worst place to get your trucks in, blah blah blah. And he had just come off of a tour with Cypress Hill, and and this was his second, I believe, tour that he did with Ben Harper. And so, anyway, talking to this guy, then I'm like, hey, any chance you think I could get in for sound check? And he just starts laughing. I'm like, I had to ask. He's like, well, he might be coming sometime around 3 to maybe do sound check. If you were here and happened to see him, and you didn't get it from me.
And didn't he say maybe he would be in a certain type
Yeah, he's like, if you see like a really big black official-looking vehicle, odds are it's him. But anyway, so I hurry up. I go to the Hockey Hall of Fame, which is super cool. Have you ever been?
No, hell no.
And I hadn't neither.
Not the hell I would want to go.
And it's not just NHL; it's all of hockey. But obviously, it's this major, NHL. But especially having Detroit be the original 6 and some of that cool stuff. But seeing the Yzerman and Fedorov stuff, that Suk was one of them.
And to be honest,
most recent.
I haven't been to any of the hockey or it's sports Hall of Fames, if you will. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey. None of them. I've been to rock and roll. But
you know what? I think I went to basketball because it coincided with some work trip, and it was like in a weird place.
Yeah, where's
like
that?
in Connecticut or fucking something.
I wouldn't even know.
And I did go in just because I had some time to kill. But no, I've never been to Cooperstown, which is one I'd really like to go to.
That's New York, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I think so.
And then football's in Canton.
Canton, yeah. And
the one Hall of Fame we did go to is the Rock and Roll in Cleveland, which is super cool. I actually want to go back there pretty bad.
I do too. So much to see.
So I did check out the Hockey Hall of Fame, which is awesome. But now I'm like trying to also hurry to double time it back, shower, get back down there. So I head down about 2:30 to try to even meet Ben Harper for like a second. I have on my long sleeve Two Dudes shirt. I have one of the gray Two Dudes shirts that I happen to have with me to give to him if I do see him. So I head down there and I'm just like hanging out by like the door that I've been watching everyone go in and out of. Right to the left of it, there's like where a huge like tour bus, but I know it's not his. It's the guy I was talking to.
Sure.
Like all those guys. So I'm just milling about and security comes like, hey, are you with the tour? And I'm like, I want to say yes, but I know I can't because I'll be found out in like 5 seconds, not even. I'm like, no, I'm just a fan. And he's like, all right, well, you got to go over there. I look over there, like 2 of those metal like barricades set up, like to keep fans away. And there's already like 3 other geeks in there. Which I, affectionately call them geeks because I'm one of them, right? So we're sitting there, and sitting there, and then big black vehicle shows up. I'm like, shit, I'm ready with my phone, and 2 people walk out. I'm like, no idea who these fucking people are. Well, it ends up being the guitarist and the drummer from Ben Harper's band, the Innocent Criminals. The drummer who's been in it longer than anyone else at this point, like 20-some years. But, like, I don't pay attention to that shit. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, could you? Like, with
we've already established we're not musicians.
No.
We love to
and I might love a band, and I might only know one person, like, actually in the band. I might not know the bass player or the drummer or whatever. You know,
you're pretty keen on Smashing Pumpkins, all the members of them.
Yeah,
you know, like I
or
could probably know
like Doors,
or
like Beastie Boys, like shit that I know.
Yeah. And that's no disrespect to them.
No, and like Ben Harper had different bands. He plays by himself, and I mean, Innocent Criminals. I mean, let's be honest, have changed so much. To call them that is still, but it's what they are, right? So anyway, now I'm still sitting there, still getting ready. Got my fucking shirt underneath my arm. Not my shirt, Ben's shirt underneath my arm. I'm not sure I kept it there the whole fucking time. I'll get into that. But then, you know, I'm doing my posts and everything that I do whenever I have time, and the security guard like comes over like fucking double time, and he's hot. I'm like, what the fuck, right? All of a sudden he's like, dude, get the fuck out of here. No one wants that shit. And I look back, and there's like a junkie sitting up, ready to shoot up, like 5 feet behind me. Had no idea. I'm completely oblivious because I'm just sitting here, you know. So anyway, it's now been like a fucking hour. It's like 3:30 almost. I'm not bitching about it, but I'm like, I could have got a little more nap. So now it's like 3:30, and one of the geeks, because they're between like that, but the junkie, and then there was other people getting dropped off and stuff. Like security, you could tell they were like kind of walking up to the corner. So I think they ended up bringing them back through, I told you, that tunnel where the bus was.
Yeah.
As well as one of the geeks realized that and like ran over there. Where does he run? Right behind the little metal fence.
I can scurry over there.
And he's waving. Now, the other 3 geeks over, me included, and the other 2 like scurry over, and I'm like, well, I'm not fucking running. I mean, it's not like he's going to run in the door. But I did it on my phone, so I got a picture of him like walking up to talk to the first 2 guys. And it was kind of funny because then they're like all giddy and they took off. And then there's this guy next to me that I was waiting with, who actually kind of reminded me of Jay Mascis from Dinosaur Jr. The way he looks now. He looks just like a 60-something year
lead singer?
Yeah, lead singer guitarist.
Yeah. Kind of balding with long hair.
Yeah. So now Ben Harper comes out, and with a person that at this point I'll call his handler. It's obviously someone who's making sure everything's good, but he's not security either. He's not like the huge, just total chill, laid back. And there's no one else. There's like 4 people at this time. So then, talk to the first 2. Now there's this guy next to me. He's got the inserts from the CDs, like, you know, the little books with the lyrics and everything. And he's having those for Ben Harper to sign. Now, as he's doing this, the indigenous convention's on break, so now more people are coming out. Now I'm like, you know, like, I mean, anyway, Ben Harper signs one, and he pulls it, signs one. He gets through about 6 or 7 of these fucking inserts, and Ben Harper finally goes, he's like, man, you got them all, huh? And everyone starts chuckling, and he's like, no, I love it, you know, that's awesome. And then like the next one he pulled was Live from Mars, which is his double album, which for me, if I didn't have any other Ben Harper, as long as I had that, I'd be super happy. And he would still be my Forever 5. Mm-hmm. Maybe another little hint of what's to come. So I'm like, that one's my favorite. And Ben's signing it, whatever. But his handler's like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah, I went to Detroit and Cincy on that tour. And he's like, oh. And I go and actually saw him a long time ago in San Diego. And he goes, at Del Mar. I said, no. It was actually the University of California, San Diego campus, like an open field.
UCSD.
Yeah. I go, and Jack Johnson opened. He's like, man, you've been around for a while. I said, I've been around since day one, bro. Yeah. You know? And then by that time, he's finally done signing like 17 fucking things. He comes to me. And I'm like, you know, I don't have anything for you to sign. I go, I was just hoping you would take my shirt. Take my
orange.
I go, it's, my podcast out of Detroit, Two Dudes, Killer Tunes. Quick, like, we talk about live concerts, you're obviously a huge part of it, blah, blah, blah. And he's like looking at it, and he just looks at me and goes, this is an amazing handle for a podcast.
Yes.
I'm like, oh my God, Ben Harper just told me he fucking loves our name.
Ben Harper.
So I'm like feeling super awesome. And so, but we're kind of done. And I'm like, well, the only other thing I would ask is if I could get a picture, because some people don't like it or whatever.
Yeah.
And if not, great. He's like, absolutely. And like, he goes arm around me. I'm like, arm around him. I'm like, since I got you here, I got a quick story. I saw you in Royal Oak in 23. I go in and I actually threw a Two Dudes shirt on the stage. I go, which I kind of feel like a dick about right now. He goes, no, that's cool, man. I go, okay. I go, it was during Fade, and I threw it up there. I go, and then you guys played like another 7-8 songs or whatever. It was like right between you and the bass player. I go, then you finished. Everyone left. I go, the shirt's still laying there. I go, and then people start coming out on stage to clean shit up. So I ran up and I said, hey, can you make sure Ben gets that shirt? I go, you know what the guy says to me? He goes, what? I go, who's Ben? And then he started fucking dying. So now I'm feeling like king of the fucking world. He loves my podcast. Yep. He loved my story. Thank God. He didn't think I was an asshole for throwing something on stage. Because that actually I thought about it. I'm like, that's kind of a dick move. Because people were throwing stuff and hitting people around that same time and, whatever. So then, I'm like, still on top of the world, but I'm like, oh shit. So now he starts engaging like with the indigenous people. I mean, he spent like 15 minutes before he even walked into the place just talking. Nicest guy ever. But I go, hey Ben, sorry to bother you one last time. Do you think you can hold it up? And then he held up the shirt and I finally got the picture of him holding it up.
Great picture.
And then you look, and there's a fucking stain on it because I had the goddamn shirt underneath my fucking armpit for an hour and like 15 minutes and like 90-degree heat. I'm like, Jesus, whatever. But it was so cool. Oh, but the best part, and I forgot to tell you, is in between the telling him the story, taking the picture, and getting to hold up the shirt, I go, hey, Ben. I go, we do remote episodes on Two Dudes and Killer Tunes. I would love to have you on. I go, better yet, 2 days we'll both be in Royal Oak. Maybe we can do something in person. Yep. Like that would never happen, right? But who knows?
You have to ask, bro.
You fucking don't know. You just throw it out there. Well, you know what? His handler that I've been calling, you know what I come to find out was actually Ben Harper's brother and his tour manager.
Yeah.
Well, when I said that, he actually gave me his email address and said, you know what, let's see if we can work something out, who knows? And I'm like, holy shit. So I have an email, I met him, so I've had like the total fanboy moment, met him. You're worried when you meet him because they might be dicks, but he was awesome.
Right.
Two dudes, I'm like, I have a picture of him, and I got, you know what, there's nothing more I could ever ask for out of all of that between a fan and a podcast guy and just whatever. And it was super cool.
I like that they were cool about that. Not cool, but I mean,
no.
Hey, here's my fucking email. Well, if it works out, it works out. If not, all right, we'll see you in 6 or 7 years. He's gonna be on a waiting list.
No, but you know what? It was funny because when I told him about the shirt, and I'm like, yeah, the dude came and whatever. He's like, well, keep an eye out for this one that he was holding. Like, so then I would go to the Toronto show, which was fucking awesome. And ended up like almost like the super high looking down, but Massey Hall's such a cool place that it just sounded great. Mm-hmm. And next day just got up, drove home, which was a Thursday, the 5th. Fucking decompressed real quick. The next day was the 6th, and I went to see him again in Royal Oak.
Yeah.
And Shaq and Nathan, his son, went, but I didn't sit with them, but I got to see them before the show. Great show. I would say out of the 3 I went to, Toronto was probably like the best just because overall experience. I think Royal Oak for me was musically and just where I was seated was the best. Mm-hmm. And then, so I saw that on Friday night, and I woke up in the morning and flew to Chicago and saw him at the auditorium.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, on the 7th. tell you what, fucking by the time Chicago came around, I'm like, why am I even fucking here? You know what I mean? Like, but then it's like you get there and you're walking around, it's just still Chicago, right?
Yeah.
I saw Mike Kuhn.
Oh, what up,
you know,
Mike?
Which obviously we want to get on the show still when it works out, but we need him in person. Mm-hmm. We're not doing a remote with him.
No,
There's
no
fucking way. But no, so I got to see him. Actually, then took a nap because and then went to the show, and then it's like. So happy you went once you're there.
Yeah, yeah.
And I actually ran into...
I'm glad you did.
I know. The lead singer of Volbeats out of Detroit. Because they opened up in Royal Oak and in Chicago. I'm just walking through and I mean, you know that dude. He's like big guy.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, you mind if I get a picture? And he's like, I guess. Like, wondered, he usually probably doesn't get noticed, especially in Chicago. Uh-huh. And I told him who we were, and I just was in Royal Oak, and I saw him too. It's like, oh, man, that's awesome. So that was cool. I got a picture with him. And actually met real quickly the percussionist. And then his name slipped me from Ben Harper's band. I met him real quick, but I didn't bother with a picture because it was like, I was tooling around after the show. It was like midnight, just downtown, and he's just walking around with a couple guys. I'm like, hey, great show tonight. I'll see you in Royal Oak. And he's like, oh, you know, and but I'm like, I don't want to.
Oh, is that Toronto?
It was in Toronto,
okay,
yeah.
Okay. Right.
It was after the show.
Okay.
And like I said, he was with people.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's when Ben came in, like they know that he's going to get stopped. Like this guy was with guys that obviously maybe he knows and we're going to do something. I'm like, I acknowledged it. But, no, that was super fun. I'm really glad I did that. At first, I remember I was just going to do Royal Oak, Chicago, and I ended up adding Toronto after the fact. And I'm really glad I did because I've never been there before, like to actually experience it, vacation, walk, just do whatever.
Yeah.
And it was really awesome. Really awesome.
And got to see some familiar faces, Gwen and
I mean, Tyson he was familiar because
Yeah.
you get to know people at least through social media, and then it's even more fun when you do meet them.
Right.
You know, and you're just having a fucking blast, and you're like, by the time you realize, it's like you're sitting there for like 3 hours. It's like a Monday night, you know, and I ain't got shit to do, but you guys might want to get home. Yeah. Do those trains stop? I don't know. I'm not Canadian. But no, that was
real quick.
Whatever,
who sings this song? People are people, so why should it be? You and I should get along.
Is that Depeche Mode? Is it?
Is it?
I think so.
But like,
you know who would know is probably Antonio Trivolone.
Yeah.
He's a huge Depeche Mode fan. You found that out from Placek.
But anyway,
I digress.
Yeah, we were talking about people, and then you're just running into people.
So since I did meet Ben Harper, and I will say I was very proud of myself during that whole thing. You know why? I mean, you might remember this. Like when I started this whole thing, you know, I was going to do this Ben Harper thing. I said I am going to meet him. I don't know what show it'll be, but I'm going to meet him. And I said, and he's going to be on Two Dudes. And I fucking met him.
So you met him.
And I met him, and it was the first show. I'm like, all right, well, that part's done. And, I mean, I got an email to try to get him on. At this point, it's really not up to me anymore. But there's nothing, you know what I mean? But just the fact that all that happened and, you know, set my mind to do something, I fucking did it.
Yeah, exactly. Not that you make your own luck, but you, however, karma hits or whatever, you know.
Everything fell into place. But, you know, like, why?
Positive thinking.
But, you know what? I think... And I'm not going to get weird, but I do think that the more positive thinking, the better you try to be and improve yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, why did that all happen? Why did I go to the Hockey Hall of Fame at that exact time? Why did those people milling about and me just say, hey, should I go over there?
Yes.
I happened to see this guy. And, you know, it all had to fall into place. And it very easily could have just...
Now, it very easily could have not if you never even went to Toronto, you know?
Right.
You know,
but
like,
if you don't start making, like you said, kind of making your luck and putting yourself in those positions for shit to happen, it's never going to happen. Mm-hmm. And I was going to go back to the whole idea of meeting your idols or what word you want to use, heroes, idols, whatever, favorite artists. Which obviously Ben Harper is one of mine. Yeah. I mean, I've loved him since like 94-ish or whatever when his first album came out. And I did meet him. I'm like, wow, he was just a super nice guy. Even the guy with like the 17 things, he was like, at the end, he was like so giddy, which is actually kind of. He's like, I can't believe that he just signed him. He was the nicest guy. He goes, and look at him. He's still talking to everyone. He couldn't get over how nice. So that was super cool. Well, another one was Rusted Roots. Been one of my favorite bands ever. We've been to so many shows seeing them. Well, you remember the whole thing trying to get me to Pittsburgh in April. Yeah. Well, after that show, I got to meet Michael Glebicki, the lead singer, and talked to him for about like 10 minutes or whatever. Told him the story about how I met him before and everything else, and actually had a fucking laugh about him. Like, man, that was a really cool guy. And then even Dirk Miller, who's from Rusted Root, but not the guy that you're there to see. And I sat and talked to him for a while, another super nice guy, and it was really good to see. I'm like 2 for 2, and then the other part of my June, I only went to 5 shows. 3 were Ben Harper and 2 were Billy Corgan. I'm like, I'm not going to press my luck trying to meet him because I've been 2 for 2 so far. If it happens down the road, and I already know that some people, they don't want to, be out there, but they also will be engaging with you as long as you aren't a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Don't touch people if they don't want to be touched. But they don't necessarily want to shake your hand. You know what I mean? Don't just be like up in front in their face. Maybe just fucking be, hey, what's up? I'm a fan. And just move on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, totally. I maybe that's kind of what that song can people, because people are fucking people, and they're going to be fucking dumb people.
There's so many dumb
Most people. Of our people are fucking dumb people. But we all love you. Two dudes still love you.
Absolutely. We love anyone that fucking loves us.
You can be the biggest geek. We'll still fucking...
No, but we always say it, though. Yeah, there's going to be people you don't like. There's going to be people that are like, what the fuck? But you might stand next to that person at a show, and none of that shit even fucking crosses your mind because you're just in the moment. Even with this, you'll look over and be like, hey,
what up, bro?
Cheers. And then like 2 days later, like, that guy's a fucking asshole.
What a fucking Daryl.
Exactly. So, yes, I went to the Billy Corgan shows. St. Andrews in Corgan, Detroit, and then Grand Rapids.
That was Grand Rapids, yeah.
So that was actually, but before, that was June. June was crazy, but leading into June, it wasn't like I was limping in and, ready to go, but we went to Head in the Heart. Remember, on May 31st, next day I went to Toronto and that whole month.
Yeah.
But Head in the Heart, we didn't talk about that. That was actually a cool show.
Yeah.
We didn't stay forever. It was one of those ones where, whatever.
It was a very good show, and the apprehensiveness in my voice, you might hear it, but I thought it would be better.
Mm-hmm.
It was still awesome, but
I would have liked it better if we showed up an hour in.
Well, fair enough.
Heard all the others,
but fair enough, and it was not really. Even if we sat at our, because we didn't even sit at our seats, we stood in the bar. Did
Correct.
You have? Yeah, I mean,
I just found a little fucking place where I could go and get decent.
And
videos.
I thought that was better, but I would have honestly liked to have been down a little bit deeper, not in the pit or whatever. But
and we couldn't get the tables; they're all sold out or whatever.
Fair enough.
I thought they sounded good. It was a cool.
They're a great band.
You got the violin.
They're a great band. But I almost thought I expected more.
Okay.
Just because,
which is fair, but
because
why?
I wanted to see him for so long, and then I was like, oh, dang.
No, then that's fair because it's funny. D-Man Donarowitz, we'll always go back and forth on Instagram or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, what did you think of that Head in the Heart?" Because I've been hearing a lot of people didn't like it. It sounded like shit. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I actually liked it a lot.
It did not sound bad, but
no,
go ahead.
Well, it depends. They were at the Fillmore, and we were at the Fillmore for Porno for Pyros.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if you're right up in the front, a lot of times that fucking noise goes right over, and it just sounds like shit. Especially for a band like Head in the Heart. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
It works. I thought it sounded fine.
Yeah. And don't get... Head in the Heart fans don't blast me or anything, but I just... Maybe I'm not that big of a fan, but I really love them. Like their music and everything. I just thought it would have been better. I don't know, but it was still awesome.
You know what? But It's funny because I know what you're talking. Like, there's been plenty of bands where I might only know 1 or 2 songs, but during the whole thing, I'm like, oh my god, that was awesome. And then there's other bands where you might know like 5 or 6, but you know what? They're playing 20.
Right, and that's what I thought.
And it might be like maybe I'm not as big of you know. And then the ones that we didn't hear were the ones that you know, like Honeybee and Our House and stuff. But still. But it was funny that you said that because there was some feedback that it wasn't as good as what people were hoping. Not that it was bad, but they expected just kind of that, almost kind of be blown away or like really, wow, I've been waiting for this and it delivered.
Yes,
and it just was like got to there, but didn't.
And maybe that's that's the way it is, and I will take that. I will see them again.
No, absolutely. I would see them again, for sure. I thought they sounded good. I thought it was a cool venue for them. I would definitely see them again, without a doubt.
But yeah, that was a good show. But yeah, we didn't even stay the whole time. I mean, yeah, now we're gonna say, oh, well, you didn't even stay the whole fucking time. But well, it was going along with it. Yeah, you had to go.
Yeah, it
do
was
some
a busy
shit
fucking time.
Yeah, and then we're like, let's just.
I've done
that
go. For some shows, especially like midweek. It's a little late.
Can get a. I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie. And then there's some shows where it's like, it's content. You know.
Sure.
I haven't seen like a real bad show, but when I say that, it's like the culmination of fuck. I've been busy. I don't really even want to go, and then it's not like a band that I'm in love with.
Yeah. Well, you just mentioned that with Corgan going to Chicago. Yeah. You're glad you went, right?
Oh no, that was with Ben Harper.
Ben Harper, yeah,
right.
Yeah.
No, but even like Billy. Billy Corgan saw him June 19th at St. Andrews, which is fucking amazing. It's Kiki Wong is on guitar, which is basically filling the James Eha role, which she's actually a Pumpkins member now. I've seen her a few times with them. And then the bass player is Jenna Fournier, Kid Tiger on Instagram. And the drummer's name's going to escape me, but overall, oh my God, the St. Andrews show was fucking amazing. We got that picture that Kevin Brace gave us in the green room. And it was like June 12th of like fucking 91 or some shit.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
June 19th of fucking 25, Billy Corgan fucking killed it, dude. 20-some, however many it ended up being, but over 22, I think, songs, all Pumpkins. I mean, fucking amazing.
And you had mentioned, you're like, I don't really, not that you didn't realize, but because Pumpkins can get hard, but you're like, are you fucking kidding me? The way he was riffing, they're all just...
Some of the songs, it's like that driving fucking...
And you're like, whoa!
And it was just Melancholy, Machina, and then Agori Mori Me or whatever, or whatever that they just came out with last August.
Me or my, yeah.
And like even some of the songs that were off of like Melancholy, it's like,
yeah, right.
By the time, of course, I had the double CD, but by the time that was out and everything else, I was kind of moving into newer music. You know, not newer, but the Wilcos and everything else.
Yeah.
So I wasn't paying as much attention. So there were some songs on there that I don't even really fucking remember that they were playing, and I'm like, holy shit. And then, I mean, St. Andrews is so small, it's like seeing them in a fucking bar.
Yeah.
And shout out to Bram Snowhook, ran into him at that show, one of our early followers. So, but no, that show was amazing. And then 2 days later, made the drive to Grand Rapids and saw Billy Corgan again at the intersection, which is where I saw Big Head Todd and the Monsters in January.
Sorry, I was
really cool
jumping
venue.
ahead. My bad. But
no, it's fine. But really cool venue. I really liked that place. That's only the second time, but Big Head Todd was there. They were great. I had this actually paid for the same table from Big Head Todd to Billy Corgan. It was so good. And just seeing those songs in those types of venues, and also, I mean, Billy Corgan's been touring since like May of 22, non-stop.
Right.
So I mean, right now he is like at his top form. You know what I mean? Like with all these songs, I mean, it was so good.
Yeah.
And ran into Chris One of Chris Malazewski's buddies from Chicago. He was in for the show, so
Right on.
ran into him, and hopefully gonna be able to catch up in November because I'm going to see Billy Corgan again with the Lyric Opera to play nothing but melancholy songs.
In
Chicago.
In Chicago.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go there. He's doing like a 10-night run with the opera. I'm like, well, whatever. Good reason to go to Chicago.
Dang, that'll be a nice show.
I know. And I tell you what, Grand Rapids, holy shit, am I falling in love with that place, dude. I'm actually going next weekend for the 4th.
I know. I mean, I've been there, been downtown there. It's nice.
And then there's so like all the breweries that are there.
Yes.
I mean, you have the Gerald Ford Presidential Museum.
Yep.
I know you've visited numerous times.
When I go back again, it'll be my 7th time.
But no, it's like, so I'm going to see Social Distortion next week.
Oh, rad.
Which I've never seen them before. I remember in college being introduced to The Story of My Life, that song. And like, ever since then, it's always on a fucking playlist, no matter what that I have. And I'm super excited because that's the first time I'm seeing them. I've never seen them before, so.
No, they're
a
cool little band.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's at GLC Live, which is, I've only been there to see Goose back in February.
So they call that GLC. So
GLC Live at Monroe 20.
Okay.
It used to be just Monroe 20.
Well, because obviously we saw the Pumpkins at Kemba Live. Like, why is it live at the end? Why are they adding that live?
I don't know. It seems kind of dumb.
Because you're fucking.
Because they can
live. I don't know. Whatever.
Kemba Live was
it Pine Music Theater Live?
I mean,
like,
we're live.
Fillmore live.
Shit, we're live because you're a fucking music venue, you douchebags.
Well, yeah. Let me know if it means something. I don't know. I'm not a fucking musician.
So since we are kind of in the new shows coming up era, one thing I did forget to mention, we did hit
talked about Social Distortion. Go ahead.
Yep, we talked about the 600,000 views on YouTube that we just hit 600 fucking thousand. Whoever would have thought, first of all.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, we started April of 23, so we're, 2 years, 2 months in, 600,000 views on YouTube. I tell people, they're like, really? I'm like, well, yeah, motherfucker, get on board or get the fuck out of the way, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we also hit our first video that got 10,000 views on YouTube.
Boom.
Which, for the longest time, and it was like stuck in 9,000, was always the Black Crowes Remedy. Which was the first video where if I got to 1,000 on a video, it'd be like, oh my God, you know? Well, we went and saw Black Crowes with Rhea and Mason and all those guys, and Nora.
Joke.
And Remedy's always been my favorite fucking song. So we get home and it was the first thing I did, oh my God, I'm so happy it's out there. And over the next week I just kept watching it and it was going. It was 5,000. So I'm like, holy shit, and we've never had one that's gone like that.
Right.
And all of a sudden it got 9.4 and just died. Fuck. Well, it ain't that one that's got his 10 either. All of a sudden, I kept watching this one that was 2,000. Then it hit 3. And I'm talking over a year's fucking time almost. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh, it's at 4. 5 and 6. I'm like, holy. All of a sudden, I get the alert from YouTube, oh, your video hit 10,000. You know what it was? Kesha from Lollapalooza TikTok. And it's been the slow creeper for this last year, and which I'm the biggest I won't even say closet Kesha fan. I just fucking love her, dude.
Well, I almost wonder because you're gonna go see her, correct?
Yes, I've seen her twice.
So I wonder if that it's getting momentum because Kesha's coming back, right?
Yeah, I saw her open for Rihanna because I did see Rihanna years ago. And Kesha opened up, and we took Elena because she was more Kesha fan at the time.
Yeah.
Still Rihanna. And I was like, wow, she really had a huge following at the time. I knew that, but seeing her, and she was super young. She was 20 at the time. Kesha was, whatever. I'm like, wow, she was really good. And then fucking Rihanna sang, and that blew me away. But then when we went to Lollapalooza, Kesha was one of like, I'm like, I have to see her. Because I knew it would be like super fun, high energy, and like I wanted to see what the crowd would be like.
And it was.
And it was, and I'm like, man, that was super fun. So now she's coming to Pine Knob, and I bought a ticket by myself in the pavilion. I'm like fucking 20 rows back or something, like some Kesha fanboy.
Fucking Kesha lover.
But then that's why I'm like, now I'm like kind of chuckling because it's her video that got us the
You're going to be Kesha 10, like you did Ben Harper, huh?
Exactly. Yep, totally, without a doubt. Third time seeing her. Yeah. When will be 4? We're looking for 4.
Third time seeing her. But no, she's a great entertainer.
Absolutely,
and has some good music too. We'll put it like that.
The one other show I want to talk about before we get into the major announcement. Stay tuned for that, by the way, because it's coming. It's coming. Before we get into that, my buzz is continued to be extended by the Blueberry Dreamsicle M43 by Old Nation.
Nation.
Thank you, Old Nation. Travis, I hope you're doing well, bro. Thanks for having us back here in season 3, episode 1. It's fucking good, ain't it?
That is very good. Yes, it's very good.
I do like... I don't know about all the creamsicle ones that they have. I mean, of course, you're not going to like them all, but I do like the blueberry. And I think it's partly because I love Short Soft Parade.
Oh, me too.
It's a 7.5 summer fucking beer. You get loaded in the
summer. I really do love it.
I know, and it's got like blueberries, blackberries, raspberries all in it. And I'm like, and I kind of like, oh yeah, it does kind of remind,
Yeah, I do need to buy a 6er of Soft Parade.
But no, so one other show before we move on to that I wanted to talk about because...
What show?
The Dave Matthews Band.
Oh, yeah.
July 9th at Pine Knob Music Theater.
That is a... Wednesday.
So, I have not seen Dave Matthews Band...
2025. We're not in 24.
No, hell yeah.
We're just letting everybody know, just in case. Oh, yeah, they saw it. Whoa. They see it 10 years from now. Well, Yes, True. It's 2025.
Yes, July 9th, 2025. But no, this will be the first time I've seen Dave Matthews Band as a band since, I think, 2001 or 2, maybe 2000. I saw Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds since, but...
Really?
So it's been like 25 years.
It's been a bit.
So I did get a pavilion ticket because I want to get close. I want to actually have that type of experience where you're there. But you're going to obviously get lawn.
Yeah, well,
because we don't have, they only have the one.
If it isn't sold out,
it'll be fine.
It doesn't matter. I'm going to go anywhere.
Like
we're going to do
We've never gotten into a show without a ticket, with a ticket, find a ticket, whatever.
And like you said, we're going to do.
But we're going to do a tailgate.
Yeah, so I'm going anyway. If I get in the show or not, whatever. It doesn't matter.
First tailgate of the season 3 will be at Dave Matthews Pine Knob. We are planning. I believe it's going to work out to have Chris Grodzicki on the tailgate episode, who has might be our biggest fan over the last 2+ years.
I mean, it's hard not to be a fan of these two dudes here. I mean,
whatever. Right. But no, and then actually with Grod, and then I went to Frank Turner with him and D-Man.
Yeah.
Obviously, great dude, but like life happens, you don't talk to someone 20 years from.
Yeah.
Holy shit, how did time pass? But we saw him at the Super Bowl this year.
Loved it.
The party, and then it was funny because we were just talking. He's like, man, I don't even really like music, but I can't stop listening to you guys. Because between like the old soccer stuff and the people you have on and blah blah blah. Well, then it was probably about a month later he did a post, and it was one of the nicest things everyone said about us and two dudes is like, I've never been a music guy. I never really cared about music. He goes, but I listen to you guys every fucking time. And now I'm taking my wife and my daughter to go see Dave Matthews. And blah, blah, blah. And he goes, this never would have happened if it wasn't for you guys. And that actually made me we do it for us. We have fun or whatever. But when you hear something like that, It's like, it's good to know that you might actually touch someone a little differently other than just, hey, we're having beer, making people laugh, or whatever, introduce them to music. It actually means something to them. And that's the whole point of the fucking music and live shows. You go and that means something to you in your own way. And that's what he said. And now I'm like, well, I'm going to Dave Matthews no fucking matter what. We'll end up doing a show. Like you said, I'll drag Neil along whether he gets in or not. But you know you will.
I'm getting in.
And we're going to have him on. It's totally going to be awesome. And there's that couple that I met in Pittsburgh at the...
Oh, yeah.
At the...
I can't wait to have them on.
Mikey Roasted Roots show. They're going. They already had tickets before I did.
I can't wait. I can't wait to
no idea what their names are, but maybe I'll post a picture and say, does anyone know who these people are? Because I'm supposed to meet them. They're supposed to be staying with me and Neil.
Yes. You can stay right down over there.
They're right over there in Clowntown over there. Hey, where?
What? No. What?
What's up, Phoebe? All right. So.
Yes, you
Neil,
can stay.
We are at kind of the 11th hour. A couple other shows. We're just going to mention them. In July, going to see Primus with Shaq. Me and him are going to that. And all I got to say is I hope it works out better than the last time me and Shaq went and saw Primus, because when I said to Shaq, hey, remember when we went and saw Primus? You know what he said to me?
No.
When did we see Primus? So we're hoping it turns out better than that. End of July, back-to-back shows, the Pixies at the Fillmore, Detroit, 28th, 29th. And it's two totally different shows. They're doing like 2 albums, I think, like mainly those two.
Which is the one where is my mind?
We can figure it out, because one, they're going to be playing before Detroit, and two, they play 2 albums, and then the next show they call it like a standard set where it's like all their hits and everything else. And I'm excited for that. The other
they're a pretty good band.
Yeah, they are.
They are.
And we saw Frank Black, and Frank Black was
but
awesome. And
Pixies are a good band.
And we know for a fact Frank Black wasn't even at his best because he was suffering from the flu when he was playing that night. The other one I just want to shout out is actually in August, early August, is Lord Huron.
Yes. Great
fucking Michigan band. Unbelievable. I don't even remember how, but I know that Jason Wagner knows those guys.
Is that a Saturday?
It is a Saturday, and it's at Meadowbrook.
Oh, Meadowbrook.
Yeah, so it's not even like Pine. It's Meadowbrook Smaller Theater. I think that'd be a great...
Do you have tickets?
Yes and no.
Okay.
We'll figure that out. But we're going to figure that out.
I need to get some tickets for that.
Yeah, I definitely
need to get tickets for
I need to
shows,
go for sure.
Apparently.
I have a ticket right now. You don't have a ticket, but we're going to figure out how it all works out for the best in both worlds.
Gotcha.
But totally great day for a tailgate. August 9th,
for sure.
Meadowbrooks. We've never been there really as a tailgate.
Friday, right?
Smaller, Michigan band. I mean, fuck, stars are aligning. So, we come up to the final topic. We talked about Cal's Forever 5 at the beginning. We talked about, what song did we hear at the then? Was it Peace Frog? So we talk about the Forever 5 on Two Dudes. Just a reminder for everyone, for those that are just listening for the first time. One, we appreciate you. I don't care when you start listening.
Yes, thank you.
Just love that you're here. But Forever 5 is your 5 artists or bands, whatever. You're on a deserted island you can't live without. These are the only 5 ones you're ever going to hear the rest of your life. So, giving technology, I look at it from a Spotify lens, because that's the streaming service I use.
Fair.
So right now, my Forever 5, and solidly a number 1, is Smashing Pumpkins.
No surprise there, right?
Now, number 2, also solid, never fucking leaving. Pumpkins will never leave my Forever 5. No matter what.
I don't think they will.
Never will.
Ever.
Another one that will never leave my Forever 5, at least I don't ever see it, is Lou Reed. Lou Reed, I don't know. He was someone that I picked up on when I was like 15 and 16, and I will tell you it was because of the song Heroin, and it was in the Doors movie for the soundtrack. And I remember hearing that. I'm like, man, that song, I've never heard something like that. You listen to it, and it literally takes you through like a fucking heroin trip, right? You start it, and all of a sudden you're fucking rushing, and then you're coming down. And then I'm like, oh, Velvet Underground. Well, who the fuck are these people, Never heard of them. And then Lou Reed, and I'm like, oh, Walk on the Wild Side. I know that's... And it all started coming together. And actually, Lou Reed was my third concert ever at 17 years old, which is kind of funny to me. Because by that time, Lou Reed was already a fucking old man, right?
Yeah.
But he's never leaving. And again,
older.
because I get the rules and the loopholes of Spotify, if I type in Lou Reed as a solo artist... I will get all of those times that either he has a live album where he played Velvet Underground songs, so it's the best of both worlds, right? So Smashing Pumpkins, we have Lou Reed, they're not fucking leaving. The other one, and we've talked about him a lot today, Ben Harper. And it's so funny because I'll talk to people, I'm like, oh, Ben Harper, whatever. And you know what I hear a lot? Never heard of him.
Never
heard of him. And he's been around for 30 years. We were talking about that
when we did the Father's Day golf outing with Nathaniel.
Right.
He goes, I never even really heard of Ben Harper. I don't even know who he is. I mean, he's a little bit younger, but
do you know what?
Doesn't matter. He's like,
some people, if they have heard of him, some of the only reason they even know who he is because he was married to Laura Dern for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And his son...
I didn't... Really?
Yes. He's got 2 kids with her, and his son was actually opening up on this tour. He opens up, and then usually there's like another opener, and then Ben comes out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Emery, I think is his name.
If we've said that before on the show, sorry, but I don't think
he was married to Laura Dern for a while. They had 2 kids. They got divorced and whatever. But,
sorry. Go ahead.
No, absolutely. So he's solidly in there. So then my other 2 members of the frat are Wilco. I mean... to me, it was the perfect segue from like grunge, and then you had all the fucking Limp Bizkit and all that Korn and stuff happening when
they didn't kind of like the punk pop too.
Right, yeah. But I found
Linkin
Wilco,
Park
and I found them through Uncle Tupelo.
Yes,
because of that No Alternative CD. So I went back to 94.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a song called Effigy by Uncle Tupelo. I'm like, it's a really cool song. And then back then you would have to go to the fucking CD store and find an Uncle Tupelo CD, and then you're like, it's a fucking crapshoot. I'm going to buy this thing. Is it going to be good? I don't know.
Most likely, but...
So I remember bought that. I'm like, wow, that's really good. And then you find, later on, Wilco was Jeff Tweedy from Uncle Tupelo. Sunvolt became... from Jay Farr or whatever, and Wilco was became this band kind of the mid to late 90s to 2000 where I was immersed in them. I found them from day one. We saw them at the Majestic, and then you saw them kind of grow, and it was the best, your favorite band story, right? You find them, you love them, and even after they start getting popular, you still love them. Because I'm not that guy that hates them when you get popular. I mean, that's the whole point of fucking playing music, ain't it? So, Wilco. Number 5. CSNY. Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. So this one, I had a lot of people look at me and say, that's kind of an odd one for you. And I get that. But... for me, I'm a huge Neil Young fan, right? And some of those songs, when you put CSNY in, are some of the biggest classics ever.
Yes.
Of those 4 playing, Sweet Judy Blue Eyes, Ohio, Our House, Tell the People, all these songs that you get. But then what you realize, again, my loophole with Spotify is that if I type in Neil Young... you get some of these songs that are actually labeled CSNY. So you get a lot of that Neil Young solo stuff. So I played the game a little bit. Well, the game's done. I'm making changes to my Forever 5. I've been thinking about it for months, right? And I'm not doing David Bowie. There's no segue with fucking changes. But that's a good one.
David Bowie.
Or a revivalist either. Don't they have change?
Yeah.
Or Blind Melon.
or.
So the first one. So one has to drop before you can add one.
Yes.
So I think the easiest one everyone thinks would be CSNY. Yeah, they're gone. Sorry, you're out of my Forever 5. You will sit, I will say, securely in the number 10 spot in my second lineup, as Justin Dunkel would say. So who is replacing CSNY?
Who is replacing CSNY? Drum roll.
I will say it is a band who is from at least the same era. 60s, 70s. It's the Doors. Always fucking love the Doors.
I was going to guess the Animals.
The Animals are good.
No,
it's the
Animals
fucking
really
Doors. One, they do have like 7 studio albums or whatever, which have so many good songs. But there's now that this Spotify, there's a lot of good like live stuff.
Uh-huh.
And like live from the Isle of Wight or whatever. Everyone thinks it's right, but it's White. WIGHT. From like 71, I think it is. Like right at the end, where it was hit or miss. Like you might get a good fucking show, but that live Doors album, I remember reading about it, and someone was like, "It literally is the best live Doors. Like it captures everything you'd ever want." I'm like, "Wow!" Especially right at the end, and then you listen to it, and it's like, "Holy shit, amazing!" So the Doors made it. They have so many good fucking songs, and that's why I played Peace Frog on the way in to the show, of course.
Hey.
Now, even though we'll still discuss them a little bit further, but since we had Peace Frog with the Doors, a little prelude to the new Forever 5 member. The Beastie Boys. So, obviously grew up with the Beastie Boys. Licensed to Ill was what, like 86-ish, 87, 80, whatever. Take your pick. Anywhere for me, 11 to 13 years old, Beastie Boys. I wasn't the biggest fan of Licensed to Ill. I remember it being important, everyone fucking loving it. I remember Susie Poling going to see, when we were like in 5th grade or whatever it was, Madonna, and they opened up for them, her in like 86.
So when that came out for you, you weren't a fan of it?
Not that I wasn't, but it was like, so I was only like 11 years old, right? And I remember hearing that. I'm like,
I was 10.
I remember knowing
12.
It was cool. I liked it.
Okay, maybe at that time.
But it almost, all right. To me, even to this day, License to Ill is super cool. There's a lot of cool songs on it. But to me, it's also not because of the content. I'm not going to say
no.
But it was not juvenile.
I think I know. Yeah.
But it was like, then Paul's Boutique came out.
Sure, fair.
And it was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
You know, but License to Ill was so important because it bridged that gap from nothing before to Paul's Boutique. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love License to Ill. Don't get me wrong.
I know. I didn't mean it like that.
A lot of people are like, like girls and the way they talk. I don't give a fuck how people talk about it. But I like the Ghetto Boys and NWA. Like, right. I'm okay.
4 and 3 and 2 and what up? What are you
right. But then all of a sudden, like Paul's Boutique came out, and then it was like they went from just like this. I would say they, almost like a novelty act when they first came out.
Okay.
Not that they were, because they were game-changing, but it was almost like, because they were goofy and funny, and like the whole...
Yeah.
To be honest, I hate Fight for Your Right to Party, or Party for... whatever that song is. I hate that song.
No Sleep Till Brooklyn.
I like that song.
I love that song, too.
But the thing is they made that Party for Your Right to whatever as a fucking... just making fun of fratters, which I love... But I also didn't like the song, though, even though I loved the reason why you made the song.
It probably isn't a good song, but it's just...
But it's put them on the map. So that's what I'm saying, is like I wasn't...
Right. I get you.
Listened to it, and it was important. like, and they did have some. Like Paul Revere, I think it is. I thought used to be on Paul's Boutique.
No.
But no, it's on Licensed Ill.
Yeah,
And I'm like, okay. Now that's a different. Now I was like, all right, that's a little different ball game now. Because like to me, that song was like a whole different level.
Here's a little story I got
Right,
to tell.
And back then, especially, I was listening to more of the storytelling rappers.
Yeah.
Slick Rick and fucking Eric B. and all Rakim and all that. And so that was like, oh my God. And even to this day, I'll hear it. And at first, I'm like, Paul's Boutique is great. I'm like, no, shit, that's before.
Yeah.
So, and they were the punk band first, so you kind of saw.
Right. Well, they were. Yeah, what was their shit before? They even had, they were fucking
and then
punk.
So Paul's Boutique is for me where they really like showed up. You saw them being kind of like more of the serious thing. They were important in the whole rap game because at first they were like, it's just these Jewish white guys.
And then
and all of a sudden Paul's Boutique came out, and all of a sudden like the legit rappers have been around and stuff were like taking notice. But for me, it was when Check Your Head came out. Because that was the first time I ever saw him was in support of that album. I was, in high school, so obviously you're more. And I saw them in support of Check Your Head at Wings Stadium, October 30th, I think it was, of 1992. So I was 17. First road trip, me and Mike Geiger took Paul. It is all his roommates from Eastern. Fucking went there, had the best fucking time. Rollins Band opened up. And
Rollins Band?
Dude, fucking Henry Rollins. And it was the Lynch Mob before that.
I love it. No.
Except Cube wasn't there, but it was everyone else, right? But the thing was, first show I've ever seen the Beasties. And they'd been all over Detroit years before that, but I never went because I also wasn't allowed, scared, whatever. First show ever, and then it's Check Your Head, and all of a sudden they're playing fucking instruments, and like I saw Gratitude, and I'm like, I love that on the album, but I'm watching them play it, and it's just a band like playing it and like singing, and then like Pass the Mic, which is to me the ultimate favorite ever Beastie Boys song. Gratitude, I will say, is probably like my favorite song. So it sounds weird, but off that album, live and everything else, Pass the Mic was it, dude. Like people would like So What You Want, and then some of the other, like the catchier ones. I'm like, no, Pass the Mic was fucking legit. It was amazing.
I probably like What You Want before Pass the Mic, but Pass the Mic is
those two were like the. And Pass the Mic wasn't like a huge single drop, but then once So What You Want came out. And then obviously later on with the other Intergalactic and all the other shit. But I ended up seeing them 3 times with Lollapalooza. 94 was the second time, where they were the last ones before then Pumpkins were the headliner. Man, and I will say to the day I die, I am a #1 Pumpkins fan, Billy Corgan lackey. They fucked that up so bad when they had the Pumpkins be the headliner. Beastie Boys should have been the headliner. Everyone fucking loved the Beastie Boys.
What year?
94.
94. Yeah.
Everyone loved it. Well, it was supposed to be Nirvana. And then...
He gone.
He happened. Yeah, he gone. And then they picked the Pumpkins. It should have been Beasties. Everyone loved the Beasties. Pumpkins are way more either you love them or you hate them. The Beasties, way more people that fucking love them.
We've talked about that.
And then once you see them playing like their instruments and shit,
yeah.
I think people would have engaged with them even if they weren't fans at that point. Because, holy shit, these guys play instruments? I didn't know that. You know what I mean? Like, some people don't know. Because they're there to see Ice Cube or whoever else, or whatever. And like, holy shit, these guys are actually good on, where the Pumpkins or whatever. So, yes, my Forever 5 has now changed. It is Smashing Pumpkins, Lou Reed, Ben Harper, The Doors, and the Beastie Boys. You have heard it here first. We have 600,000 fucking views. It's probably just a matter of time before we start making that 2 dudes money, bro.
I agree, and then I'll just do my quick Forever 5.
Yeah, let's hear it because it's been a while.
I don't know when I did the last Forever 5. And this could be the same one that I've done, but I really do. And I think they've been in my Forever 5. But Arcade Fire,
Yep.
fucking A, they fucking rock. I had Tragically Hip, but I think I'm gonna remove them and put REM in there. And I think REM has been.
REM was in your last one for
yeah.
sure. I don't know what Arcade Fire was, but I know you've always loved those dudes.
Tom Petty, Wilco.
Tom Petty,
Wilco, and the National.
I think you stayed the same. I'm not sure about X. So it was Arcade Fire, REM, Tom Petty, National, and who was the Wilco. It might be Arcade Fire might have changed. And
yeah.
Who did you mention ahead of time of that? The other one?
I mean, REM, the National, Wilco, Tom Petty, Tragically Hip. Yeah.
Okay.
That might have been. It was has been in my top.
Either it stayed the same forever, or you flip flopped Arcade Fire and Tragically Hip.
I mean, I can do REM or Tragically Hip, but I think I know if I'm going to do it right and do it straight right now. I like more REM songs than Tragically Hip, or I know more REM songs.
Yeah.
How about that?
I'll say that, but I tell you what, REM is one of those bands I can't fucking turn them off when they come on, dude. I don't care what song it is, even if it's the one with KRS-One. Yeah. Which I know Keith fucking like always laughs when we talk about that song. Is that Pop Song or Pop Song 89? But no, so one, Neil, this has been fucking fun. We haven't done a show like this in quite some fucking time.
No, it's been a bit.
So we will call this, I guess, our Season 3 mid-year review. It's about time. It's
mid-ish recap.
Episode 12. Who knows how many episodes we'll end up having, but I think we're going to have more remote episodes now that we live together here in the studio. But who knows? So, one, thank you, everyone. Make sure you check us out on all the socials. A lot more to come up this season. And peace.
Later, bros.